Hi guys, welcome back. Today I have a kind of a requested video and I wasn't going to do this video, but I've had that many people kind of ask me my opinions on it and what I feel about it that I thought I'd definitely get one filmed because there seems to be a bit of a demand for this video and I haven't seen any so far about, so I thought, you know what, I'll get in there early, try and get one done. And it is a compare and comparison video on two foundations that I've recently picked up. I have done in-depth reviews on both of these foundations because they're relatively new launches and they're definitely ones that I've only recently acquired in my collection. And a lot of people have been asking me, if you had to choose which one would you buy, what are your reasons for it, and which one do you prefer? And even though it's a really hard question to answer and I'm not quite 100% sure made up my mind yet, I feel like I can give you the overview of what I think about them, what I like about each one, what I dislike, and I can put them both on, comparing them for you guys. You can see the difference that they make, and yeah, I'm just going to get started. Okay, so the two foundations in question, and I'm sorry about my messy hair today, the two foundations in question are the two recent launches from Too Faced and Charlotte Tilbury, and they are the Magic Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm going to be comparing it to the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. These two seem to be the two main launches that are on everyone's radar recently. Everybody's talking about them, everybody's asking out of the two which one are worth going for. Now I'm really lucky, I have picked up both and I do really like both, but I don't necessarily feel like you need to own both unless you're like me and you're a bit of a foundation junkie. There's no need to really buy both of these foundations because in a lot of ways they are quite similar. So what I'm going to do is talk to you about them each separately, and then I'm going to tell you the differences about them, and I'm going to show you me applying them and that kind of thing. I'm just going to get started. The first one I'm going to talk about is the one I got first, which is the Magic Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. Now you can see with the packaging, there isn't that much difference between the packaging. They both come in glass bottles, they also both come in cardboard boxes like this. Now I actually prefer Charlotte Tilbury's packaging because it's more of a minimalist design. However, Too Faced have actually produced some really nice packaging with this one because it's not as animated as their usual packaging. It's quite understated, quite laid back, and I do like that. Also, very similar, not too much difference between them, both feel very good quality, and yeah, so those are the two packaging in terms of the boxes. Very nice indeed. There's also quite a lot of text on both of the back of them explaining what they're meant to do, the ingredients that they contain, and the finish that they're meant to give. So it's always worth having a little bit of a read of the packaging just so you guys can know what they contain and that kind of thing. So the Charlotte Tilbury packaging says on the side, flawless, poreless, youthful looking skin every day. And I definitely agree with that. I feel like it does minimalise the appearance of my pores. It spreads on really evenly. It gives me a nice even finish. Now I'm actually wearing the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation today, and the only reason I've opted to wear this one as opposed to the Too Faced one is I actually applied it second with the demo, so I didn't see the point in taking it off. So that's the only reason why. It's not because I prefer it or anything like that. It's just because I applied this one second. And this is the finish it's giving me. It's a very warm finish and very perfected. I have used obviously my products on top, like my highlighter and that kind of thing, but I've not used any concealer or anything like that, or any powder on top. So the complexion that you see is from this product with some highlighter on top basically. So there's no powder going on, no concealer. The coverage this is giving me in the finish is just the Magic Foundation by itself. Very warm, very youthful, perfected, very nice indeed. What I love about this foundation is it does tackle a varying degree of skin ailments. It will tackle pores, discoloration, pigmentation, it will tackle acne, it will cover scarring, it will cover a hell of a lot, this foundation, and it is definitely a medium to full coverage. I only actually applied one pump, which you'll see in the demo, and it's given me a really nice wash over the face, and I definitely do appreciate the amount of coverage that this gives, given how light the texture is, because it's quite hard to find a decent coverage without feeling like it's caked on. So I definitely do like that about this. This also contains SPF 15, so you're also getting that added protection, which is really good, and it's definitely long lasting. When I come to remove my makeup at night, I will find with most foundations that they tend to wear off a bit during the day. There are patches where my acne has kind of come through, or discoloration has kind of seeped through a little bit because of the wear and tear of the day. With this, I actually find that it's a shame to remove it at night because the makeup still is intact and looks very nice and natural. I really do enjoy this foundation a lot. This says on the back, a full coverage demi matte long lasting finish foundation. If you don't know what demi matte means, it's kind of in between matte and dewy. It's kind of like skin, which I love. It's a very natural, healthy glow that isn't completely matte and it isn't completely dewy, so it looks like skin, which I love. That's definitely my favourite type of finish when it comes to foundation. and it also says enriched with hyaluronic acid, Laricil and the concentrated power of vitamin C, which is obviously going to moisture and replenish the skin, charge it up, make it look a lot more fresh and awake. And it says skin is moisturised in a dewy finish and pores are remained minimalised. Completely agree with that. I have larger pores in this area here. I'm quite lucky, I don't have like overly large pores, but I definitely do have large pores in this area, and it does cover them up really nicely. This directs you to apply. It says start in the centre and work outwards. Now what I did is I basically just dotted it on my face and blended it out with a brush, and one pump did the whole of the face, which I was really happy with. It's super adequate, it looks really nice indeed. So the key factors of this one that I love is the coverage is great, it's very long lasting, very easy to apply and feels really nice and lasts well. So I love this foundation and it's definitely one of my favourites that I've been using recently. Comparing it to the Born This Way. So the Born This Way does contain a lot of facts on the side of the box, and it also goes into the ingredients as well. It says on here that it contains coconut water to delicately replenish the skin's moisture levels. I love the idea that it contains coconut water, because sometimes, again, with higher coverage foundations, they can come with not the greatest scent. This smells like coconut, so for me personally, it's an all-winner. It feels pleasant to wear on the skin, which is half the battle with the foundation. It also contains alpine rose, which is meant to brighten the skin's appearance and promote elasticity. So there again, you have something that's going to fight anti-aging, it's going to make the skin look kind of more plump and youthful. So I feel like if you have aging skin, this would cater to you really well. And it also contains that same core ingredient of the hyaluronic acid for smoother, more youthful looking skin. So you have the vitamin C in the Charlotte Tilbury, which is meant to energise and replenish moisture. You also have the coconut water in the Too Faced, so both of those are going to give you the same kind of properties. You also have the hyaluronic acid in both of them, which is going to give you that plumped appearance. So far, very similar ingredients indeed. This is an oil-free foundation, which is fantastic, especially if you have oily skin, if you have acne-prone skin. This contains no oils, which is pretty amazing, because sometimes with oily foundations they can sit quite heavily on the skin, which people don't really like, and I can definitely appreciate that this does not contain any oil. And it says it masterfully diffuses the light between makeup and skin for coverage so undetectable and skin so naturally radiant that people think you were born this way. You'll see from the application of the demo, it is a very nice finish indeed. I also did an in-depth review on this where you can see me wearing the foundation in its entirety like this one, so you can see with makeup on the top, and it looks really nice, looks very natural, very dewy, so it definitely does do that. There are also some stats on the side here that said 100% of women said that this foundation blurred their imperfections, 98% of people said that the foundation made their skin look absolutely perfect, which is a bit of a bold claim, and 97% of people said that the foundation provided a nice natural coverage. When it comes to these stats in particular, I definitely do agree with all of them. It gave me a nice even coverage. It definitely blurred out any imperfections. I have some discoloration here and also some acne scarring, and it covered them really well. My skin, I wouldn't say looked perfect, because I don't ever feel like my skin looks perfect, but it was a more perfect version of what my skin does look like on a day-to-day basis, and I would say absolutely did look natural. I felt very dewy and very fresh faced, and I didn't feel like I was slathered in makeup, which is really nice, especially again when it comes to a high coverage foundation. You don't want to feel like it's caked on, you don't want to feel like your pores are restricted and that your skin can't breathe, and I didn't feel the need with either of these two foundations to want to take it off. And when it comes to taking my makeup off at night, it's a real relief to get some foundations off, whereas with these two it was kind of a shame to remove them. I'm going to show you both of the bottles so you can see what they look like outside of their packaging. This is the Born This Way foundation by Too Faced. Very nice packaging, quite chunky when you compare it to the likes of the Charlotte Tilbury, but both of them come in glass bottles, and it's also really interesting to note that both of them have opted for the frosted glassing, which I really do like. I feel like it adds to the effect. I think it looks more expensive. With Too Faced you have this nice big lid which goes on the top, and also with the Charlotte Tilbury you have the rose gold. So very nice packaging when it comes to both of them. The amazing thing about both of these foundations is that they both come with a pump, which is absolutely fantastic, because not all high-end foundations, in fact very few high-end foundations come with a pump. So I'm super psyched that both of these options come with a pump, because it means that you can compare them more effectively, you don't have to run out and buy anything special, they both come with the same pump, and also the price is very similar. I think this one is £29, I think, and this is £29.50, so 50 pence I believe between them. Don't quote me on it, I'll link everything down below so you guys can check that out. But in terms of their packaging, they're not that dissimilar. This is very, very chunky, it has the golden lettering. This kind of tapers off during, this kind of elongates at the bottom and thins out and has the white matte packaging. Both very pretty. The only thing I will say is this pump is a lot tidier than this one. So you'll see if I hold them up close that the black pump has definitely a lot more tidy than this white one, and it's not because of the colour, it's just because a lot more foundation has leaked out of this one in comparison to the Too Faced, so that's something to consider. However, it's not a big deal, it's not to the point where you'd actually lose a lot of your products, where you would think it's really wasteful. If anyone who's interested, I have the shade Warm Beige in the Too Faced and I have the shade Medium 8 in the Charlotte Tilbury, and they're both very, very similar shades. However, I would say that the Charlotte Tilbury is slightly warmer, but both of them suit me really, really well, and both of them also have a really nice shade range. Warm tones, cool tones. You should be able to find a decent shade match for you with both of these, which is fantastic. Okay, so let's compare coverage. When it comes to the Too Faced one, I feel like it's been slightly outdone by the Charlotte Tilbury. The Charlotte Tilbury covered the redness and the acne scarring a lot more effectively. However, that is very easily remedied by just applying a little bit extra of the Too Faced. So it's not that big a deal, but it did cover them slightly better. I do prefer the finish of the Charlotte Tilbury, and I do prefer that it's a lot less tacky than the Too Faced. Not that the Too Faced is tacky at all, but when you compare them and you're being really nitpicky, the Charlotte Tilbury feels lighter. However, the Too Faced one is easier to blend and apply, so it's more sparing than the Charlotte Tilbury. I feel the need to apply more of the Charlotte Tilbury than I do with the Too Faced, so that's again something to compare and consider. When it comes to the finishes, I absolutely love both. There's not one where I would say is better than the other. I just feel like both of them have areas where they excel and other areas are better than others, if that makes sense. Like there's some things that the Charlotte Tilbury does better than the Too Faced. The coverage, how long it lasts, feels less tacky. However, it's easier to apply the Too Faced. It doesn't seep out of the pump as easily, and it feels just as nice. Like it feels slightly stickier, but not to the point where you'd think I'm not going to purchase it because of that. There's not that big of a difference between them, if I'm honest with you. If I was completely honest with you, I would, if I had to choose, if I absolutely had to choose between the two, I would go for Charlotte Tilbury, just because of my love for the brand, the fact that I feel like this suits my complexion a little bit more at the moment, and I feel like it's a little bit lighter, and I appreciate that considering the fact that I have quite oily skin. However, if I had more dry skin, or if I had a drier skin type, then I'll probably go for the Too Faced, because I feel like this is a lot easier to spread and it's not going to disturb dry skin underneath, if that makes sense. So this needs buffing in a lot more than this one does, so those are two main factors to consider. In terms of price, packaging, everything like that, very, very similar indeed. I don't think you'd be disappointed opting for either of these two foundations. They're both fantastic launches. I hope you guys have found this review helpful and the compare and comparison. I think it just comes down to your loyalty to brand, packaging, and what's more important to you. Is it the fact that it blends well, or is it the fact that it feels a little less tacky or cakey on the skin? None of these are disappointing. I absolutely love both of them. Don't forget to comment down below with any of your questions. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to give it a little like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!